Hi and welcome to my latest video, which will be about the differences between the Webasto Thermo Top Evo and the Thermo Top V. Enjoy the video. So last year I fitted the Webasto Thermo Top V to my car, which was brilliant. It was a good heater, and just in the middle of this winter I had a problem with it, which was the motherboard. It just stopped working. I tried everything I could, but it just wouldn't responding anymore. So I made a decision to get another Thermo Top V as well. Getting a Thermo Top V which works as a parking heater is a bit challenging because they were designed for specific vehicles. But this video is going to explain the differences between the Thermo Top V and the Thermo Top Evo, and it's going to be in two parts. So the first part will be the hardware part, and then the second part will be the software part. So with the hardware parts, these are the two differences in regards to hardware with the Thermo Top Evo and the Thermo Top V. So they are both 5 kilowatts heaters. That's the Thermo Top V, and that's the Thermo Top Evo. They are both 5 kilowatts. The connectors are also different. So with the Thermo Top V, it has 3 connectors for the water pump, and then the main one, which is 8, and then the power connector, which is 2. I'm just going to focus a bit about the main connector, the 8 one. So there are 2 extra ones which are for CAN signal, so CAN high and CAN low, and then pin number 2 is the W bus. That's the one for the communicating with your Webasto software or your Webasto controller. With the Thermo Top Evo, it's got 2 pins and a different connector for the water pump as well, but the main connector is only 6. So there's 2 pins missing, which I believe is the CAN high and the CAN low, and then the power connector as well is different. So just to show, this connector is for the Thermo Top V, and it's got 8 pins in it, and the water pump has 3 pins in it, unlike the Thermo Top Evo, which is just 2 pins. And the power connector as well is different. You have to get a different VAC connector for the Thermo Top Evo. Let's talk about the burners now. Well, in size they are the same, but the burners are different. The Thermo Top V has this burner with a ceramic just between the glow plugs and the fuel dispenser. There's a different type of burner for the Thermo Top V as well, which has a solenoid for the fuel as well. But this burners has been discontinued, and I read some articles on the forum which were indicating that there were problems with the ceramic being broken at some point, maybe within a year of usage, so it was discontinued. But I cannot really confirm if that's the main factor which caused the halt of production of these ceramic burners. The Thermo Top Evo has a different burner. This is the upgraded one, and you can see there's no ceramics. You can see the fuel intake is very small, and the fuel intake for the Thermo Top Evo is a bit larger than the Thermo Top V. With the differences between the fuel intake sizes, you can argue that there will be difference in the fuel pump. In the Webasto manual for the Thermo Top V, it clearly states that the fuel pump DP40, which is for the Thermo Top V, should not be used for the Thermo Top Evo. Now, this can be a reason for efficiency and other safety reasons as well. If you have a Thermo Top V, it is recommended you use the DP40 fuel pump. And then if you have a Thermo Top Evo, it is recommended you use the DP42. If you try to fit a Thermo Top V burner into the Thermo Top Evo, it wouldn't fit because the heating casket is different. There are differences in them. Softwares are different for both heaters because they are different hardwares, but they do have a major software algorithm in common, which is sparking auxiliary heating. This Thermo Top V I bought from eBay, and it was the same part number I saw on another YouTuber on eBay, and his was working. His was in parking heating. Okay, so I'm just going to explain the difference between parking and auxiliary heating just to clear it up. So parking heating, it gives you the ability to use your heater in a parking mode. That is when your engine is off. You can just use any remote controller you think which is capable of communicating with the Webasto signal. You can just turn it on without your engine running, and that's the parking heating. And the auxiliary heating is when you start your engine, it sends the ECU sends a message which is subject to a temperature threshold, maybe below 5 degrees or below 4 degrees. It sends a WBAS message to the heater that the engine is on, temperature is cold, can you please turn the heating on, and then it turns it on. Now in this situation the engine is already running, so the heater doesn't need the circulation pump. That is the heating independent circulation pump. It depends on the car's circulation pump, which circulates coolants around the heating and into your radiator and into your engine block. But in the parking mode, if you turn it on, because your heating is off, the heater relies on the circulation pump to circulate coolant around your engine block. If you have your fan connected, it will run your coolant to your heat exchanger in the fan, and then it will turn on your cabin fan, blow hot air into your car. You come into your nice car and this warm engine temperature is bearable and ready to start. So that's the difference between the parking and the auxiliary heating. If you have a heater which is been programmed from the factory, which are mainly the Thermo Top Vs, the Evos can be programmed as well from the factory to a specific vehicle. Now the vehicle manufacturer specifies what sort of mode they want the heating to be in. So let's assume you have a heater which is from let's say Jaguar, and it's in auxiliary mode. Now if you buy this Thermo Top V with the software in auxiliary mode and you try to run it in parking mode, it wouldn't run in a parking mode. It will turn on, but because the circulation pump has been disabled, because in auxiliary mode you don't need a circulation pump, so because the circulation pump has been disabled, you will not be able to run it in parking mode. And without the circulation pump, it will give you a fault code of overheating. It will try and start to run for the beginning, but once it detects there is no coolant flowing, then it will just give you a fault for overheating. And it's the same principle as well for the Thermo Top Evos. Most of the cars I've found them on are the VWs, and if it's in auxiliary mode, it's very it's not difficult, but you will not be able to run it in parking mode. Now there are two ways of which you can I wouldn't say unlock, but I would say you can change the software, upgrade the software from auxiliary to parking mode. I'm just going to talk about them. The first method, which I assume is possible to upgrade your heating from the auxiliary heating to parking heating, is when the heater is in the vehicle itself and it gets upgraded by the vehicle's software. So for the Thermo Top V, I'm going to make a reference to a Land Rover. So for example, you have a Thermo Top V in your Land Rover, maybe you have it in your Range Rover Sport, and you decide to turn on your time climate. Now you can do this with your ID2 or the STD software for Land Rover. Now what happens is when you upgrade or turn on your time climate with your STD or the IID2, I believe it does two things. The first thing is to let the ECU know that the heater can be able to operate in parking mode, and then the second thing is writing the software into the heater as well to change it from auxiliary to parking mode. Now this is the logic that answers my question of why are some of the Thermo Top Vs in parking mode, because you see people buy them on eBay and they post videos on YouTube and it's a Thermo Top V but it's working in parking mode. This is why some people do get their heaters in parking mode. Getting a heater in a parking mode on eBay is difficult because you will never know if the previous owner or the donor car has been upgraded from auxiliary heating to, let's say, time climate. So that's about the Thermo Top V for now. I'm just gonna push it aside, and then let's talk about the possible upgrade options for the Thermo Top Evo. With the Thermo Top Evo, is similar principle, but with this there are two options to upgrade your heating from auxiliary to parking. But Webasto sells it as well for universal installation for cars. So there is a software which is capable of upgrading your Evo from the auxiliary heating to the parking heating. This software comes with the it comes with the data set and then the firmware itself, which can be bought online. I'll just put it on the screen now with the details of where you can buy them as well, and I'll put a link below the video. And then the second possibility, which is same principle to the Thermo Top V, which is if you have a VW, let's say you have a VW T6 T5, you can use the VW diagnostic software to also upgrade your Thermo Top Evo from auxiliary heating to parking heating as well. Okay, now back to my reason for buying a brand new Thermo Top Evo. I checked the prices of the software to upgrade the Thermo Top Evo, which I bought on eBay. I bought it for like £35. It came off VW Amarok, I think so. And I look at the software and I thought of buying it to upgrade it, but the software in the blue dongle, which I believe is the firmware, can only be used once. So it's an encrypted software in that dongle and you can only use it once. And I'm thinking, well, if I use it once, I'm able to unlock it successfully, and I have a problem with my motherboard or something happens again, I buy a different heater, which I might not be lucky to get a heater for like £30 or £35 as I bought this one, then I'll have to buy another software again. So I decided to buy a new one to eliminate all those chances, and then I get a 2-year warranty as well. I believe I haven't even looked much into the warranty yet, but I believe it comes with a 2-year warranty as well. On all the places to get my heating from, I got it from Germany. There were some UK sellers as well, but the prices I couldn't find the basic one, because they all come with controllers and other accessories, which I don't need because I already have all the setups already. I have changed my connectors from Thermo Top V to Thermo Top Evo. I bought these connectors online. They are VAC connectors. I just bought them online and then I changed all the connectors. So I don't need most of the accessories. I just needed a basic heater. I couldn't find the most basic one because ideally I was looking for only the ECU and the fan, but the price was about £360 or £370, and I'm thinking, if I'm gonna spend that much money, I might as well, I would rather spend it on the complete basic one, and then I can get some spots for free as well. So in my Freelander, I've already upgraded my The fuel pump, it's already been upgraded to DP42. So let's connect the diagnostic kit to the new heater and give it a bit of run. So my old diagnostic kit, which is this one on the left, it doesn't work with the newer versions of the heater because I think the Webasto version is 4.0 and above, so it doesn't work. I had to get a newer version that I got from Webasto, and it looks well made. Looks like it's made from metal. So you have this USB port which you plug in into your laptop. The RS232, I think it's been discontinued. It's the older version of connecting your kit to the diagnostic to the laptop. And then the IPMU, it's for programming your relay for the fan. And then that's the Webasto K line, which connects to your heater. And it's a long cable, but it's got two. It's a long cable. It's a long cable, and you might need to get an adapter, Webasto adapter. I mean, depending on the type of heating, there are so many adapters out there. That is for power. If you want to connect it to your main battery power, the cable, if you want to connect it to your main battery power. I do apologize for the screen glare. So the connection has been established. I'm just going to show the operational information. The heating time is 1:25 minutes. If you want a Thermo Top Evo which could run continuously, then you should do a bit of research with the RVs, because I read on some forums that the RV versions are capable of running continuously. I have one for code which is low battery. So let's fire it up in parking heating and let's see how it works. The cabin temperature.
the cabin fan comes on when the temperature reaches a certain threshold. I think it's about 50 degrees. You can see the circulation pump is active, which means it's running in parking heating mode.